Matt is here with Business Then, and the big question on the business desk today is how many D-Days can Greece have? Because another one.
Another one, and each one always seems more important than the last one, but this is really an important one. All eyes will be on Greece at 8 o'clock this evening. That's the deadline when bondholders have to tell the Greek government whether they're prepared to accept this bond swap deal that's effectively going to see them lose 75% of the value of the bonds that they hold. It's very important because if they don't get this agreement, Greece is not going to get the money it needs from the EU and the IMF. Now, how is it going? Well, different estimates between about 40% and 58% of bondholders we're hearing have accepted so far. But the key issue really for Greece and for these bondholders is what they'll do if they don't all accept. Now, Greece is hoping that at least three quarters will voluntarily accept. What they can do then, for those bonds that have been bought under Greek law, they can use legislation that was just passed to force the rest basically to accept. What's worrying them, though, are about 14% of bondholders bought them under international law. They're not subject to the same rules. They may decide to try and hold out and get payment in full, but Athens is saying, forget that, we're not paying you.
And we are also hearing about one bondholder that's already saying, no, we're not doing it, we're going to hold out.
Yes. A big nine from Bild Zeitung in Germany. They've been waging a campaign against a Greek bailout, and they actually bought some debt, and they said that they say they're not going to accept the deal. It's not going to be huge. I think Greece can manage to cover this. It's about 2,300 euros they'll have to pay, so that's probably okay.
Now, the markets this week, they went down and down at the beginning of the week, sort of stable-ish yesterday, and now they're sort of picking up a bit.
Yes, you're right. Stuart says the markets are looking pretty good. If we could take a look at Asia, actually, to see how things are there. Nikkei is closed now. That finished up a healthy 2%. There's some good news from Japan. Although the economy contracted in the fourth quarter, it was much less than had been expected, so that helped buoy things there. And over in the US, we also saw a positive day of trading. Some good news on job figures there, job creation, all waiting for the big job report on Friday on that one.
Now, as expected, Apple has showed off the latest generation of its iPad. Apple dominates the tablet computer market, and it hopes to stay ahead with this latest model. This report from Ketavan Gorjastani.
Today, we're announcing the new iPad, and it is amazing. We've taken it to a whole new level, and we are redefining the category that Apple created with the original iPad.
Apple's new touchscreen tablet will have a sharper display and a faster processor. The new features mean the device will be slightly thicker and heavier than the previous version. Apple is hoping the new iPad will consolidate its leading spot in the tablet market, but not all iPad owners are ready to upgrade.
I'm not one of those people that has to have the latest, absolute, most up-to-date recent one. I still love this one. I'm going to hang on to it for a while. I'm not going to upgrade.
Well, I'm interested in getting it because I only have the first one, and the speed has been slowing down a little bit, so I'm looking to upgrade.
Since launching the first iPad in April 2010, Apple has always been one step ahead of its rivals, at least in sales. In 2011, 62% of tablets sold in the world were iPads. The only two competitors making the 5% market share cut were Samsung with its Galaxy Pad and Amazon with the Kindle Fire. In 2012, Apple's tablet market share is expected to reach 70%, and the company is hoping to sell 70 million iPads, up 71% from last year. It seems like Apple still has a few years left as the king of tablets, a market that should be worth about 24 billion euros next year. The new iPad will hit the shelves in 7 countries, including the US and France, on March 16th.
Going to pick up now on a few more of the day's top business stories. And Air France KLM has announced it made a net loss of 809 million euros in 2011. The company said it was hit by an increase in its fuel bills of 904 million euros. The French-Dutch group said it aims to stabilise its debt at 6.5 billion euros in 2012.
And in other airline news, German carrier Lufthansa reported losses of 13 million euros on Wednesday. The company said its British Midlands subsidiary dragged down results with losses of 285 million. Lufthansa has agreed to sell the loss-making airline to British Airways' parent company, International Airlines Group, although the deal is still awaiting regulatory approval. Now, the youngest of them is just 27 years old, and one family has 6 of them. They are billionaires, and Forbes magazine has just published its latest list of them. Stephen Carroll has more.
No change at the top, but even the richest man in the world is a little poorer this year. Mexican telecoms tycoon Carlos Slim tops the Forbes rich list with a net worth of $69 billion, down some $7 billion on 2011. It's been a tumultuous year for the world's billionaires.
It was an amazing year of volatility. There were 1210 billionaires last year, 1226 this year. That's only a net gain of 16, but it's a much more complicated story. There were 128 newcomers, 117 who dropped off, another 12 who died.
Still easily keeping their places at the top of the wealth league are the likes of Microsoft founder Bill Gates and US investment king Warren Buffett. French chairman of luxury group LVMH, Bernard Arnault, is Europe's richest man, but the owners of high street fashion retailers like Zara and H&M are creeping up the list. Although last year China shot up the rankings with new billionaires, in fact there are 23 fewer there in 2012, while there were 12 new billionaires in the US. There are a record 104 female billionaires on this year's list. They include the newcomer Sarah Blakely, the creator of shaping underwear brand Spanx.
There you go, create yourself your own Spanx and become a billionaire. That's the answer, isn't it? Now, a tiny village in Spain found a novel way to reduce its debts.
Very innovative way to cover them. This is the village of Rasquera. Don't know if you're familiar with the Catalonia region of Spain, but
not that familiar.
No, well, like many municipalities in Spain, it's got a lot of debts. This place has 1.3 million euros of debts. Looking for a way to cover that, they came upon the idea of growing cannabis. Now, Spanish law allows the growth of cannabis as long as it's used for personal or shared use. Right. And there are strict rules around it, and some of the residents were very keen to make sure those are observed.
They say it's going to be used by laboratories to produce medicine. If that's the goal, then sure. There's almost no medicine that doesn't use drugs, painkillers, and so on. But if it's used in a different way, then I don't agree.
Yes, so people sort of quite keen that that it's done correctly, but they will be well paid for it. They're going to get, every month, they're going to be paid about 54,000 euros. And so over the course of 2 years, that's going to add up to cover the whole thing. One thing, though, the exact location of this field is being kept strictly secret for obvious reasons.
Yeah, yes, exactly. I wonder why. They'll have to keep it quiet, won't they? Otherwise, everyone will be doing the same thing.
Exactly.
OK, Matthew, thank you very much. More business from Matthew in an hour and 15 minutes' time, roughly, and the latest headlines coming up with Claire after the break.
Are they watchdogs of the world's financial system or a threat to it? In Beyond Business, we look at credit ratings agencies and the work they do. This is European regulators look at ways to rein in their power and influence.
Don't miss Beyond Business, Saturday 10:15 a.m. Paris time on France 24.